Nuclear energy is in the early stages of a mega trend. That's the sweet spot for investors, getting in before anyone else. We have the CEO of NVIDIA saying it's impossible to win the AI race without building new nuclear, meaning AI is impossible without nuclear. Even without AI, nuclear energy is seeing a resurgence because it's a green fuel. But with AI, it's accelerated, it's exponential, right? So when you think AI, think nuclear. When you think nuclear, think uranium, meaning AI is impossible without uranium, a scarce commodity that very few people are even aware of, right? Very few people who are bullish AI know what uranium is, but it is crucial to make AI happen. It's crucial to make the entire nuclear renaissance happen, right? And so just in the last week, we've seen junior uranium miners up 5%. We've seen the S&P 500 flat. We've been waiting for interest rate cuts. We've been waiting for global liquidity to increase. These junior miners are starved for capital, and the only way they're going to get access to it is if they can get financing, right? So the cheaper capital is, the more these junior miners can finally kick in. And because we know the resource they're all after is in a multi-decade supply crunch, meaning there's way more demand for it than there is above ground supply. We know these miners need to kick into action, right? And the only way to do that is to get access to financing. There hasn't been any access to financing. So the cost of uranium has gone up, but these junior miners haven't been able to cash flow. Well, that's all getting started now, right? Assuming global liquidity can go up. We know how indebted all these massive countries are, and therefore we know how much they have to print, right? When they print, money supply goes up, and they ease restrictions on this capital. And high quality growth assets can finally outperform again. Sprott Junior Uranium Miners ETF massively outperforming the S&P 500 this week, right? We're also seeing mergers and acquisitions. ISO Energy announces acquisition of Anfield, securing expanded near-term U.S. uranium production in the Shootaring Canyon mill, right? So a sign that there's deep value in a space is mergers and acquisitions, right? When companies start to gobble each other up and compete for market share, right? And so we're starting to see a mergers and acquisition spree in these deep value uranium miners. So just another catalyst for these junior miners, right? Wall Street is starting to understand how crucial uranium is. So they're starting to finance these massive takeovers, wait for more and more of these to take place as people realize how scarce this fuel is. Russia prepares a ban on export of essential raw materials to unfriendly countries. So we talked about monetary policy. What about geopolitical risk? What about the polarization of the world? We have the East and the West, China, Russia, Iran, the BRICS nations kind of going in one direction. And then we have the United States, European Union, Canada, all going in another direction. Russia, Kazakhstan are mainly aligned with the East, and they are some of the biggest players by far when it comes to uranium. So all it does is make the supply crunch even stronger in the West. More demand, less supply. Return to nuclear energy in Germany. New plans for U.S. nuclear plant cause a stir. After it was decided many years ago, the current federal government had postponed it again, the nuclear phase out. They keep postponing their plans to phase out nuclear energy. CDU calls for reactivation of nuclear power plants. Nuclear power should continue to flow. Just another example of an entire massive country doing a huge U-turn on nuclear power, boosting the demand for uranium. Ontario's first new nuclear reactor in a generation heads the public hearing. Sweden to begin construction of new nuclear reactor by 2026, right? They already have 6 nuclear reactors. They're building another one. Department of Energy finalizes $1.52 billion Palisades loan for first ever U.S. nuclear plant recommissioning. These nuclear power providers are financed with billions and billions of dollars, and the United States government is just pumping money into this industry. And of the 67 new nuclear reactors now under construction, the World Nuclear Association estimates 27 units will come online by the end of 2026, right? But more importantly, given that new reactors require loading about 3 years worth of uranium fuel, which is usually ordered at least 3 years prior to startup, the operators of the 20 new reactors to start up in 2027, 2028, need to order mined uranium now so it can be converted, enriched, fabricated into fuel rods ready for loading by the projected startup date, right? So get ready for fireworks in this space. All the experts who understand the space agree we're in a multi-decade supply crunch. There's not enough major utilities coming online in the next few years, and uranium just keeps getting scarcer and scarcer.